Good morning, everyone. It is Thursday, November the 12th, 2020. It is currently 10:53 a.m. Central Time. And well, you already know where I'm coming to you live from. Okay, so we don't need to go through all of that. What we do need to go through is what in the world is going on. The story I have in front of us has changed so many times that at this point, I wish I would have never mentioned it. There's a part of me that wishes I would have never mentioned it. And there's another part of me that's like, you know what? That was really smart to do because this story serves as a bigger illustration to a much more important point. But in the meantime, it's frustrating because I have to keep turning the mic on to talk about it once again, and I would rather move on to other things. But sometimes you got to do what you have to do, what you need to do, and you can't do what you want to do. That's how life works. Now, I'm going to have to take a drink of water because I had no idea that the second I started talking, that I was going to lose my voice, okay? So, here we go. This is, I'm going to start by kind of laying down a basic, kind of a premise, kind of a thesis of the point I'm really trying to get across. Because if I don't do that, I know what's going to happen is people are going to listen to what I'm about to try to, explain, all the facts that I'm about to give everyone. And everyone's going to interpret it as I'm making a political statement, or I'm against Donald Trump, or I'm for Joe Biden, or whatever. Who knows? People, it's bizarre. Sometimes the reactions you get to a podcast episode, you have to ask yourself, are the people actually listening to what you say, or are they just reading the title of the episode and then sending you an email? There are situations where it is clear they didn't actually listen to what I had to say. So I'm going to try to right here from the very beginning to make this very, very clear. I am very much trying to get across to everyone who claims to be a Christian. That's the audience I'm first and foremost trying to speak to. Everyone who claims to be a Christian. I want you to understand the absolute importance for you as a Christian to focus on truth, to pursue truth, and to put away false information, to put away, rumor, innuendo, lies, gossip, slander. That's the thing. That's the world we should not traffic in. We should not be trafficking in the world where we're throwing out crazy allegations, half-truths. We're putting forth information that we're misrepresenting. We're making claims that cannot be backed up, cannot be proven, cannot be true, or haven't been proven to be true. We cannot be doing that as Christians. I have stated this so many times, and yet, I'll start searching the Christian podcast world, and there's crazy conspiracy theory, absolute insane accusations, just the most insane thing. And that's perfectly okay in the Christian world. Yet I open my Bible and it's God like, I hate lying lips. God's like, put away lying, speak the truth. God hates deception. He hates lying. And I'm like, what is the disconnect with the average Christian when they hop on social media and they're like, post this, post this lie, post this false information, post this hoax. And it's like, why don't they ever stop and go, wait a minute, I shouldn't be posting things that are not true. But when you confront them, like that information is not true, that information is false, they just get upset, or they pull out the card. Well, I don't really care what people think because I'm going to question things. Well, it's different. There's a difference between questioning things and promoting and posting things that are unproven or completely proven to be false. It doesn't make you a warrior for pursuing truth when you're out there posting lies. All right, we've got to get back. We have to be pro-truth, all right, as I stated yesterday. So that's what I'm really trying to get across. And we have a story right now that just demonstrates that in the world we currently live, trying to find truth is so difficult, and and I want you to just understand how easy it is for you to share information, and the information you shared 4 hours later, 5 hours later, 12 hours later may absolutely be proven to be opposite of what you posted. So once you post it, now it's your responsibility to follow up to find out if that information stayed true or if the whole situation has been proven to not be accurate, because this is exactly what happened to me yesterday. I turned on this microphone and I reported that a postal worker in Pennsylvania who had made claims that he overheard, that he saw, that he witnessed voter fraud basically in action, and his comments were picked up by some Republicans and a number of individuals, started being shared on social media as this individual being the whistleblower, the one with the evidence to show you that everything in Pennsylvania was fraudulent. This was the one that was going to prove that the election was being stolen from Donald Trump. Well, then we found out yesterday that no. This individual had recanted of his original claims and original allegations. So I reported that. Then later in the day, I'm listening to music and I get a notification on my iPad of a podcast episode. And I look at the podcast episode and it was like Pennsylvania postal worker recants. I'm like, wait, recants of what? I thought, yeah, he recanted of his original accusations. Okay, wait, what's going on? So I listened to it, and what had happened, this is bizarre. So we have this Pennsylvania postal worker who made claims of voter fraud. Then we find out that he recanted of those allegations. So let me go through this. So he made the accusations, then he recanted of those allegations. Then here's what's crazy. Then he recanted of his recanting. Then he stated, no, I didn't recant. That's not true. That's not accurate. So we had the original allegations, the recanting. All right. I recant. I did not actually see these voter fraud. I didn't hear this. I take this back. Then he comes back and says, no. I take that back. I did see this. I did not actually say that. I'm being, the media is lying, fake news. And now the story has changed again. So just try to follow me. So we have the initial report, postal worker, voter fraud. All right. Then we have the report that postal worker had recanted of his original claims. Then we get a report that he had recanted of his previous recanting. In other words, he's like, nope, that's not true. I did not recant. That's not true. That's false. I stand by my statements. Then today we get a report that the postal worker is now on audio tape. There is an actual audio recording which proves that he actually did recant. So what is the truth? The story keeps changing again and again. Here is the story I have in front of us, all right? Here it is. Pennsylvania postal worker who fabricated voter fraud allegations told investigators that Project Veritas wrote the false sworn statement or wrote the false affidavit. All right. So what is going on? So let me hear this again. So this, just even trying to just report this is so crazy because it keeps changing. The Pennsylvania postal worker who fabricated voter fraud allegations told federal investigators that Project Veritas was they were the ones who wrote the false affidavit. And you're like, wait a minute. So now, what is going on? Here's the story. On Tuesday, we reported that Richard Hopkins, an Erie, Pennsylvania postal worker, fabricated allegations that a supervisor instructed employees to backdate ballots. Accusations picked up by the Trump administration, Senator Lindsey Graham, and Attorney General Bill Barr, who then gave orders to the DOJ to prosecutors to investigate voter fraud. All right. So that means that's why the story was big. I mean, this was picked up by all kinds of people. This was one of the pieces of evidence to prove it, that voter fraud was real and that, it proves the election was being stolen. Now, Hopkins' original allegations of fraud were first published by Project Veritas. the conservative group run by James O'Keefe. On Tuesday, after news broke that Hopkins had recanted its story to federal investigators, Project Veritas said it had proof that he had not done so in the form of a 2-hour recording of Hopkins' interrogation, which would show that the mailman was coerced by federal investigators into recanting. So according to this, they supposedly have proof that it was forced to recant, and then he came back to say that my recanting of the original allegations is not true, so this is all fraudulent. Well, continue listening. Hopkins touted the recording of the investigation as proof that he had not recanted. So he comes out like, see this recording, it proves that I hadn't recanted. I told you I hadn't recanted. Well, now listen carefully. The Washington Post reports that Hopkins clearly recanted his allegations when an agent from the United States Postal Service of the Inspector General asked Hopkins if he stood by his sworn statement that a supervisor was backdating ballots mailed after Election Day. Hopkins answered at this point, no. So no, I don't stand by my statement anymore. Okay, that sounds like you're recanting of it. So what happened? Well, this continues. He was also not pressured. The Washington Post adds that the agents repeatedly reminded Hopkins that his cooperation was voluntary and urged him to have a lawyer present. Hopkins told them he had no personal lawyer, but Project Veritas had one on retention in case there's anything that happens. So he didn't have a lawyer. Project Veritas supposedly has one on retention in case anything happens. Hopkins also told investigators that Project Veritas wrote the original affidavit alleging fraud and said he regretted signing it. So supposedly Project Veritas is the one who wrote the original statement, and then he's saying, I regret that I ever signed it. All right, well, now what happens? The Washington Post adds, it's not clear if Project Veritas, if Project Veritas altered or edited the recording before releasing it Wednesday afternoon. Now, I'm not going to say, I don't know if they did. I don't know if they did not. I don't know. The group, which has described the interview as a 3-hour interrogation, said in the statement that a portion of the interview was not recorded. In a video published Wednesday, Hopkins, 32, said in an interview with Project Veritas founder James O'Keefe that he felt like he got played by the federal agents. So now he's coming out saying, I got played by the federal agents. I was, I guess, tricked. So that's where it stands. So we supposedly have a recording where he says, I don't stand by my statements. And Project Veritas wrote the affidavit, and I regret ever signing it. But now he's saying, I felt like I was tricked. I was duped by the federal agents. So guess what's happening here? We don't know what's going on. Okay, we have someone who comes out and says, hey, I've got evidence. I've got proof of voter fraud. And I got my supervisor, talking about backdating the ballots. Okay, great. So you stand by your story? Yes. All right. Okay. Now he meets with federal investigators. Supposedly when he talks to the federal investigators, he's like, wait a minute. Nope. I don't stand by my statement. Project Veritas, they wrote the affidavit. I regret ever signing it. Then after that story breaks, then he now comes out saying, no. I didn't mean that. I recant of that. I stand by my statement. And now supposedly there's a recording that proves he actually did recant. So where is the truth? We don't know. And this is why it's so important for Christians to realize just because you hear something doesn't mean you stop right there. You have to continue to follow the story. I have no desire to keep following the story. I have no desire at all. I'd rather talk about other things. But once you start down that path, you have to continue. And you've got to try to figure out what the actual evidence is. And then we have to then state that. So that's why yesterday afternoon, I went live from my house to go, hey, story keeps changing. I have a feeling this story is going to change 3 or 4 more times, possibly, or this is what I think may happen. Everyone may just go, look, I don't know what this guy is doing. And everyone from Project Veritas, from Republicans, and everybody may wash their hands and just say, okay, let's move on and find something else because we don't know what's going on with this guy. And because it begins to call into question the veracity of his claims, begins to call into the truthfulness of what he's talking about. And so it's not going to help your case. It's not going to help your case if the one case you're pointing to about voter fraud, you got the person saying, yes, the allegations are true. Nope, I don't stand by the allegations. Wait, I actually do stand by my allegations. Wait, there's a tape that seems to say that you did deny your allegations. So which is it? And now this guy's in the middle of will become a political, I don't know if it's going to become a media firestorm, but he's going to be caught in the middle of all this controversy. In the meantime, the average individual out there trying to figure out, okay, where was the voter fraud? Did the voter fraud happen? Can I trust the election? Can I not trust the election? Has to try to figure it all out. And I want you to hear what I'm about to say. Here's the situation that's happening. There are multiple, quote unquote, multiple realities being created. I'll give you an example. Last night, since there's been so much talk about, hey, everyone stop watching Fox News, go to Newsmax. You can't trust Fox News, go to Newsmax. So I turned on Newsmax and watched for 2 hours. After watching 2 hours of Newsmax, that the reality they were presenting is basically Donald Trump won the election, and it's just a matter of time before his victory is acknowledged by everyone. That's pretty much what you got on Newsmax. Donald Trump won the election. They even had a segment where the media needs to start preparing people now for the eventual reality that Trump won. That the media right now needs to start preparing everyone. That, hey, guys, we may have spoken too quick. You need to understand that Trump's about to be declared the winner, and all of these states, and the election is going to be. We're going to call the election for Donald Trump. We were wrong to call it for Joe Biden. So literally Newsmax and their reality, Trump won, and it's just a matter of time. And that voter fraud is going to be absolutely proven, and that all of this, it's all going to happen in a matter of days, probably in the next, I don't know, by next week, it's going to become obvious that Trump won. That's Newsmax. Now, once I turned off Newsmax, I started, watching and listening to some news broadcasts, news podcasts, watching some news. And on all of the other news channels, it was a completely different reality. Trump lost. It's over. The voter fraud allegations are nonsense. Trump should concede. He's only doing this to create chaos in the country. Joe Biden we're going to view Joe Biden as the next president. His transition is already starting to take place, and that's what we're going to focus on. It's like two absolutely, completely opposite realities. And for the Christians standing in the middle of all of this, we're supposed to be the ones going, okay, everyone, truth is what we need. Truth is what we need. So if all you're doing is listening to one perspective, then that begins to become your narrative and your reality, which then prohibits you from seeing actual reality. You don't want the reality created by any particular ideology. You want the reality, not the created reality by people who have agendas, who have an ideology to prove. You've got to find the reality. And as the Christian, you have to be the one going, because I keep seeing Christians say and claiming all kinds of things. I was listening to Christian radio on the way here. And, basically, again, Trump won. And it's like, if he did win, okay, we've got to wait till this is what has to happen before we can say Trump won. And I'll get to Biden in a minute. First, you got to determine that there was enough voter fraud that not only occurred, has been witnessed, has been documented, has been proven, and can be upheld in court as evidence, and that's enough to overturn the current results of the election. Right? Now, once that occurs, and then once Trump is declared president, then you can say he won the election. Until now, we can't say that. As of right now, Biden appears to have won. However, we have to wait even on that, because if there's enough evidence to overturn that, then we accept that. So right now we've just got to be cautious. We got to be careful. And here's the reason why. Because we are Christians. You see, if I wasn't a Christian, I wouldn't care what I was doing. I would turn on this microphone and just go with whatever narrative I wanted to go with, right? Whatever crazy theory I wanted, I would throw out theories. I would throw out ideas. Who cares about truth? What is truth? Truth is whatever I want it to be. I would talk about the craziest conspiracy theories on the face of the planet. I would just do whatever I wanted to do. I wouldn't worry about truth. It wouldn't matter. But as a Christian, we worship the God of truth. God is true. Jesus, the way, the truth, the life. God is connected with truth. He's the ultimate. He is reality. And as the followers and believers in God, we are supposed to turn from deception and lies and misrepresentation. We are told not to bear false witness. God is so much about honesty and truth and putting away lying. So therefore now I have to operate from that perspective. Do I always do it perfectly? No. Am I just as vulnerable to deception as the next person? Yes. But I don't get what's happening to the Christian mind, where it's like, I posted that information about voter fraud, and you're like, yeah, that information wasn't true. I don't care. No, okay, well, you don't care about truth? You don't like, well, I believe, or they'll say, well, I believe it to be true. You believing it to be true doesn't make it true, okay? When did Christians start thinking that way? So here's the deal. We've got this story about a postal worker. Let me go through it again. He made the allegations. Then he supposedly recanted of the allegations. Then he supposedly recanted of his recanting. And now there's supposed audio evidence, video evidence, clearly proving that he did recant. And now he's saying that he was tricked by the federal investigators, that he was duped, that he was misled by them. So now he's going to stick by it. Well, at this point, his credibility is about down to zero. So I guarantee you, I doubt he's going to be brought into a court of law to give a sworn statement, because I don't think any lawyer at all, they're going to say, man, defense attorneys, the other side will destroy this guy in 5.2 seconds. So I think he's destroyed his credibility. So if your hopes were he was going to be the one to prove voter fraud, you're going to have to move on to the next person. Now, I know supposedly the Trump administration have hundreds of people who've given sworn statements. We'll see if they show up in court. Rudy Giuliani has been out there making all kinds of claims about 900,000 ballots in Pennsylvania were not legally filed, or whatever the number is, some big number. We'll see if that holds up in court. The allegations are everywhere. Allegations do not equal truth. Allegations do not equal reality. Those allegations, first you make the allegation, then you've got to make sure you've got the evidence to back up the allegation. Then you got to take that allegation and that proof to a court and say, here's the allegation, here's the evidence to back up said allegation, and then you wait for the court to make a ruling. You're right. These ballots need to be thrown out and rejected, or wait, we need to redo the whole thing, or wait. Donald Trump did win this state. Donald Trump did. Okay, well, ladies and gentlemen, the entire election goes to Donald Trump. The whole thing was trying to be stolen, and we caught it. We exposed it. We discovered it, and that's the truth. That's what we're waiting for. That's what we're waiting for. But at some point, I'm telling you, time is running out, and the allegations are everywhere. In fact, let me just look really quick. Let me look at this really quick. All right. Yeah, I was just seeing if we have any new. All right. Yeah, I'm just seeing if we have any new news about any, hey, they just found, 900,000 ballots for Trump and he now won. I'm just seeing if there's anything new here going on. Remember my prediction that Donald Trump would he was going to put out some kind of a news channel to go after Fox News. Well, it looks like that's new. Let me look at this. Trump eyes digital media empire to take on Fox News. So if Trump doesn't get reelected, then he's going to create a media channel to go after Fox News. So that could be an interesting development and to move forward. He's got millions of people. Let's see, what else do we have here? I'm looking for anything. Okay, here we go. According to the Wall Street Journal, here's a headline from the Wall Street Journal, written by Karl Rove, yesterday at 5:38 p.m. This election result won't be overturned. Recounts occasionally change margins in the hundreds, never in the tens of thousands. All right. And then they've got an article here basically saying, hey, that's Karl Rove. He's definitely on the Republican side. He's saying, hey, it's not going to happen. It's not going to, that the recounts are not going to change anything. And maybe he's completely wrong. Again, that's the point. We'll have to follow the story and see. We'll have to find the truth. See what else we have going on here. I was hoping for a lot of updates on the legal cases going on with Trump, but I'm not seeing anything here. Biden, Seattle Times is reporting that Joe Biden is going to halt the border wall. All right. So $15 billion spent on the border wall, 450 miles, and Joe Biden is going to halt the border wall. And I made the statement before Trump was elected that it was going to be a lot of money and he was never going to complete it. According to this story, Mexico never paid for any of it. It's less than half finished. And on January the 20th or soon thereafter, construction will come to an abrupt halt on the big, beautiful wall the President Donald Trump promised to build along the U.S.-Mexico border. The project has cost $15 billion so far, most of it diverted from the military budget after Congress refused to provide full funding. Which is exactly what I said way back in 2000, before Donald Trump was elected, that if he got elected, the whole wall thing was never going to happen, was never going to be complete, was never going to be finished. Mexico was never going to pay for it. And I felt that the whole thing was just an absolute, there had to be a better way. $15 billion. And now that wall's going to stand there. We'll see if any of it starts getting taken down. We'll see. I want to see the condition of that wall in a couple of years. I want to see what it looks like. And that's going to be $15 billion just left abandoned. And that's what people voted for. Like listen, I'm not saying we shouldn't have a border. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying we shouldn't have laws to protect our border. I'm not saying that. I just thought that trying to build a wall was just not going to be the thing that was ultimately going to be the solution to the problem. There could be sections where it could be possible, but we needed a wholesale different approach to the entire problem. But there you have it. Whether you agree with the wall or didn't agree with the wall, the reality is it's done. It's finished. It's the end. And so $15 billion, and there we have it. I was hoping to get some more updates, because it's the legal challenges. It's the legal challenges that we have to look for. And let me see here. Okay, the New York Times is reporting that they called election officials in every state, and no evidence of voter fraud reported. Okay, so I mean, you can check on that if you want. I mean, I mean, this is the part of trying to figure all of this out. 9 hours ago, here we go. A 4 viral. Okay, here we go. This. Let me go back to this. 4. Okay, here we go. 4 viral videos falsely suggest voter fraud led to Biden's victory. All right. So that's what I'm talking about. There's viral videos going around. And guess what? Those viral videos are being shared by Christians. They're sharing these videos that are now being proven to be fraudulent, to be a hoax. Christians can't be the ones doing that. I don't understand why that is so controversial. Man, can we just? I don't get it. Yeah, and just the more you search, the more you find out, oh, that's fraudulent. That's a hoax. But then when you present this to Christians, hey, that video you're sharing is fraudulent. I don't care. I don't believe. Where'd you get your information? I believe it to be true. Okay, well, all right. Well, next. All right, you're gone. You're over in la la land. No way to help you, because you should stop and go, whoa, wait a minute. There's evidence out there calling into question the video I shared. I'm sorry. Let me post a statement saying the video I shared 4 hours ago seems to be there's arguments that it's not true, not false. I'm going to delete the video. I apologize for sharing information that was possibly misleading. I don't know why that's not just the normal Christian response. Is it because of pride? Is it because of pride? Or is it because you just think you know better than everyone else? Whenever you talk to people about any of these issues, I don't even know what to say anymore. So there you have it. That's what's going on. We're really we're right now in the middle of such I think this is what we're seeing. We are living right now with the results of abandoning truth. We are living in a culture that abandoned truth. We live in a culture that has abandoned reality, and now we're reaping the consequences. I always thought, maybe I was naive, but I always hoped or thought in my mind that once the culture abandons truth and the chaos, the tidal wave of chaos sweeps over them, and they realize that without truth, they can't determine anything. And without truth, no one is wrong, no one is right. Once the fruits of their relativism and their denial of truth and their denial of reality begin to sweep over them, and they begin to taste the consequences of it, I really thought then it would be the opportunity for the church to go, okay, now we can talk. All right. Now, do you realize what happens when you abandon truth? Now, do you realize what happens when you abandon reality? Now, do you know what happens when you accept a relativistic view of morality? Do you see what's going on in your streets? Do you see what's happening in the world? Well, guess what? The Christians are still here. We're still calling you back to truth. The only problem is I never envisioned that, don't even bother coming to the church, because the church is the one out there leading the charge and spreading false and misleading information, and we've abandoned truth just as much as the next person. So now there's nowhere to turn. Now, obviously, there's churches who still hold the truth and believe in truth, but in many cases, I think they hold the truth and believe in truth as a theory. But when it comes to practice, they get caught up in the misinformation, half-truths, logical fallacies that the world is caught up in. And at that point, I hate that all hope is lost. Okay, that's what I feel right now. It's like it's like the world is on fire and we're out of water. Okay, that's kind of where I feel like right now, because again, it's the Christian world. I don't care that if you're listening to this and you're not a Christian. I'm sorry that you've abandoned truth, but we're not supposed to. So I'm speaking to Christians saying, hey, let's not fall for all of this. You're spreading videos, and then there's reports now that the videos are fraudulent. Well, that you should be ashamed of yourself. So there you have it. I'm going to stop right there. I apologize at the very beginning. I think at the beginning I got confused trying to explain the postal worker story, because I think I made it sound like that I don't know how I stated it, but now I'm second guessing myself. But I think I clarified it at some point. So let me just to summarize. The postal worker made a claim, then supposedly recanted of that claim, then supposedly came out, in a sense, recanted of the recanting by claiming, I never recanted, I stand by my statement. Then now there is proof that no, you actually did recant, and your first recanting is the true narrative. And supposedly he claimed that, no, I don't stand by my statement. The sworn affidavit was written by Project Veritas. I regret signing it. And so I don't know where we stand. It seems that now he's not responding to anyone. That's the latest reports I've seen, that he's not responding to any requests, to talk to the media. So I don't know what he's going to do. If he's got a sworn affidavit and did he tell the truth? I mean, I guess the good thing is, to the federal investigators, he said he didn't stand by his statement. So that means either did you lie if you're now standing by your statement, then did you lie to the federal investigators by saying you didn't stand by your statement? Like, what is the truth? And the problem is, we won't, I don't know if we're ever going to get to the bottom of it. But if we can't get to the bottom of it, then guess what you and I can't do as Christians. We can't be using any of his testimony, can't be using anything he said to anyone as supposed evidence, because we don't know now if he stands by it or rejects it. And that is the problem. All right, I'll stop right there. Everyone have a great day. God bless.